Welcome to another episode, everyone. Prison predators. I just spoke about them recently. They are alive and well. Again, they have different ways and different tactics of trying to get next to you these days. No longer using brute force and knives, but propaganda and subtle threats, amongst other things. And they're in Corcoran, circa 1995. A predator was pulverized, demolished, nearly lost his life for playing games, predatory games with an individual there that we all had love for. The predator in question, he was from Long Beach Crip. Let's call him Shady because he was very shady. And his cellie, let's call him Lil Man. He was also from Long Beach. Lil Man was only 19 years old, yet a very strong and intelligent individual, and was not going to succumb to any treachery produced by anyone. He was rather sharp. He was on the yard, was Lil Man, before Shady Cuz got there. And just like people in the past that I've told you about, TZ and others, Lil Man had respect from everyone on the yard. We all sort of looked at him as our little brother. He played a lot of basketball and he stayed out of the mix. He didn't bother anyone. But once again, do not underestimate someone like this. He was not a coward by any stretch of the imagination. He just, even at a young age, knew how to mind his own business. And that's what he was doing constantly. Shady Cuz all of a sudden hits the yard. Now, here in Corcoran and on other level 3s, there were a couple of gay people there, a couple of homosexuals. This is disallowed on a level 4 yard, but now and then on a level 3 yard, not on every level 3, but on some, you'll see one or two there. And there have been fights over them, stabbings, and all sorts of stuff. People thinking that this is their woman, and they're protecting their woman against everyone else on the yard, who their woman may have eyes for, and who other men on the yard have eyes for this man's woman. And when Shady Cuz hit the yard, there was one there. I forget this dude's name, because he was a dude, but I forget his name. But he was there, and he Precious, I think. And he was in a cell with some dude. But Shady Cuz used to get drunk off that Pruno. He made it all the time. He was older, bro. He even walked like an OG, like he was strong. He walked like, he was in bad medical health, like he didn't have a lot of time left, and like he needed to be sitting his old ass down somewhere. But instead, he's still running the yard as if he's active, as if he's one of the youngsters. So Precious is on the yard one day, and Shady Cuz is out there drunk. He's out there on the yard drunk constantly. Again, the rules are much more lax on a level 3 yard than they are on a level 4 yard. On a level 4 yard, you cannot come to the yard drunk or intoxicated in any way, because you always have to be observant, cautious, careful. You have to have all of your faculties in order to recognize danger if and when necessary, which most of the time is every day. So the rules are a lot more stricter. Again, level 3 yard, not so much. Again, on a level 4 yard, you will never see Precious on a level 4 yard. I've never seen a Precious on a level 4 yard ever. They won't let them on the yard. They can't come up. They're not going to program with them. They're not going to be on the yard with them, bro. It's not happening. They're not going to hit a level 4 180s ever. But here on a level 3 yard, you're able to get away, at least back in those days, with this sort of thing. So he's out there drunk, as he most typically is, Shady cuz. Can barely fucking move. Damn near need a wheelchair. Older dark-skinned dude. Little bullshit ass afro. Sit down. He out there in the yard dancing. Precious out there dancing. Now, at this time in Corcoran, you can have your radios, Super 3s and Super 2s. That's what the name of the radio was. A big Super 3, the Super 2s used to bump louder. Super 2s was gray, silver. Super 3s was black, dark. And you put your Walkman and connect it to the Super 3, put your cassette tape in your Walkman and bump your Super 3 loud as hell in your cell. And you used to be able to walk with them on the yard at this time. Your Super 2, your Super 3, they just tell you turn the music down. Now you just can maybe have your headphones, whatever. You can't, there are no radios like that. But at this time there were. And so people out there bumping, they got their whole radios out there on the yard. And Precious is over there, you know, in his little corner doing his little thing, you know, basically twerking before twerking was even out. Precious over there twerking in the corner, listening to the music. Shady cuz, go over there where Precious is at. We all see the move. We looking, what's going on here? Shady cuz goes over there where Precious is at and start dancing with Precious. All right there on the yard. Now, Shady cuz is drunk. Precious got on some shorts, some old tight-ass jeans. And Shady cuz is all up on Precious' backside. His bumper. Right there on the yard. This is a no-no. What are you doing? You're an OG, supposed to be setting an example. But really, his homies went and got him, pulled him to the side, slapped him out of it, basically snapped him out of it. They ain't touching him. Told him, bro, you tripping, bro. What the fuck you doing? Take your drunk ass in. Made him go inside of the cell. But the damage had been done. People in the yard didn't witness this. Other races and all this. It's embarrassing. What are y'all gonna do about this? At the time, nothing. That wasn't even what caused his downfall. There in the cell with Lil Man, Shady cuz getting drunk all the time begins to make what I believe to be advances at Lil Man. Lil Man believed them to be advances as well. Well, he started talking about some story about back in the day when a dude had come in for an unforgivable case, the kind of case that gets you violated, violated, there in prison, and then deleted, if possible, unalived. But first they want to humiliate you. And so he said that he was involved in a situation back in the day, like in 1983 or what have you, where a dude had come in for some faulty charges, a dastardly crime that could not be forgiven. And they got him on the yard, got him inside of his cell, pinned him down, tied him up, beat him up, and basically took turns, you know what, S.A.ing him. So Lil Man told him he didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear no story, no war stories like that. You want to talk to me about how to conduct myself in prison, you want to lace me up because I'm 19 years old, that's fine. But I don't want to hear that kind of shit. He was beyond his years, was Lil Man. He was sharp and was not about to be groomed, but clearly Shady cuz, who has tendencies, a proclivity for femininity, is making advances. The little man, having a penchant towards intelligence, recognized it and tried to nip it in the bud. But he went too far one day, did Shady cuz. The little man said while they're on his bunk, he heard a sickening sound. Sounding like lotion and some type of motion. He said, I know this is not what I think it is. I know that this grown-ass man is not down here on his bunk playing with himself. While the lights are still on, it's during the day, it's program time. And little man said he looked down and lo and behold, Shady cuz had his pecker right there in his hand, going to work. Little man said he jumped down off the bunk and took off on Shady cuz. He squabbled him up. Shady cuz did have a black eye when he had came outside. But little man did not have a weapon, to do the job, finish him off. All he could do, that was just his instinct to just take off on this dude. Immediately he felt the disrespect. Man, what is this dude doing? He trying to play me. He trying to play me. Doing this out in the open while I'm right here, I'm wide awoke, I'm not asleep. There are rules to this kind of shit inside of a cell. There's cell etiquette. You don't sit there and get naked in front of your cellie while he's still woke, watching TV right there, and go to work on yourself. No way, no way. This will get you deleted, messing with the wrong person. He took off on him, but he didn't have a weapon. So he came out, did little man, and he was distraught. And he was explaining to his homies and everybody else what had took place. And since Shady cuz reputation had already taken a big hit after dirty dancing with Precious out there on the yard, twerking, people had begun to lose respect for him. And now when we're hearing the story about Lil Man saying how Shady cuz is feeding him these war stories, but they're all of a predatory nature. It's all about something that he did in prison and someone else of an S nature. Some sort of S assault. These are all his war stories. And then Lil Man is explaining, he asked him not to get at him like that anymore. He didn't want to talk about this sort of thing. He said, okay, whatever. But he still was making some sly remarks in there. And then he said he heard a little lotion and some type of weird, sickening, loud motion. And he thought, no, could this be true? And when he looked down there, it was true. And he jumped down and he said he took off on him. But now everybody's up in arms. Everybody's irate that's hearing this story. Everybody's saying Shady cuz is in line for severe smashing, trying to convert a young homie. Instead of lacing him up, teaching him, you're trying to convert him. You're trying to abuse him, brutalize him in some way, take advantage of him. Man, you're no good. You are shady. You're no good. You're no good for us. You're no good for black people, for the black community. You can't be trusted on this yard. You're a culprit. And right then and there, everyone was chomping at the bit. And the decision was made immediately that people were going to bum rush Shady cuz's cell while he was in there. Whether he was alert or not, it didn't matter. Enough people were going to go in there, all with weapons, and brutalize him, take him down. for his unmitigated gall, his indiscretions, the audacity to try to take down one of our own. It's sickening. And you've already comported yourself in a way that is unbecoming of an OG. Right here on the yard for everyone to see. And no one can unsee this. No one can get that thought out of their head. When they see you, they look at you and laugh. You're not getting any respect on the yard anymore. And now you want to take advantage of a 19-year-old in a cell with you. That's your young homie that you're supposed to be teaching. Fine. Corcoran, again, at this time, was very dirty. The police were dirty. They will hit your cell. And they hit Shady Cuz's cell during day room. And about 5 individuals ran in there. And Lil Man, he was already in there. He already knew what was going down. He said he was going to be a part of it. And he was going to stand there and make sure Shady Cuz didn't go anywhere. And when they come rushing in the cell, he was going to get out of the way and let them come in and then get involved. And that's exactly what he did. 5 dudes entered the cell. They all had knives. Shady Cuz like, what's up, bro? What is this? And they just attacked him. He didn't have a chance to grab a weapon. He got on the bunk and curled up. But they was hitting him. They was hitting him, bro. They lit his ass up for playing these dumbass games. And the police came in there, took Shady Cuz out on the stretcher, cleaned up the blood. A couple of dudes went to the hole. But that was okay. That's a sacrifice that they were willing to make. Because again, it is now frowned upon to have this sort of predatory behavior in prison. And again, the ways that they do it now is more insidious, more sleek, more sly. You have to be aware. No longer are they entering your cell with weapons and drawing down. They've improvised, and they're coming up with ways to manipulate you, test you like this dude was doing, test you with a war story, some sick war story that you should not want to hear if you are a man. You don't want to sit here and hear another man talking about what he did to another, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear that. But if you sit there and listen to it, you done already failed the first test. But Lil Man nipped it right in the bud. But he decided to test them again by sitting there doing what he did in broad daylight while program is going on. People out there running around the cell in the day room, and he's sitting on his bunk, wacky, playing games, man. He lucky. He ended up surviving. But he's lucky. He's blessed. He's yelling, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did something. You know exactly what you did. And he paid the price. Beware of the predator. Stay free, people.